little. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, after that contribution from that member on the eve of the celebration of a resurrection, I'm surprised that he should wax so eloquently on that issue. And when I look at the loudest members in the House at this very point, Mr. Bennett himself, Mr. Ockhamvole, Mr. Calder, Dr. Calder, even Simon Bridges, then the theme of resurrection is most apposite, because these are careers that are about to come to an end and are desperate for something to bring them back. And of course, they're not the only. There is at least one other minister who is hoping for a miracle this weekend, and of course, we all know what's going to happen to her. But I want to say this, Mr. Speaker, that with this bill, and with a fairer management of road user charges for heavy vehicles and for diesel vehicles, then add to this bill Labor's policy on effective management of heavy traffic on big roads, then I think we have the making of something very special for New Zealand travellers and for New Zealand drivers. And I look forward to the day, Mr. Speaker, when very soon in a few months, when the next Labor-led government will be able to complement this bill with its new transport policies, where we will have the freedom campers in their mobile homes and those who are towing their registration fee-free caravans, and they won't be held up by the big heavy lorries in the fourth lane or the third lane of the Waikato Expressway that member trumpets loud and long every opportunity he gets. I look forward to those days, Mr. Speaker, when we will complement this bill with those sensible and, I might add, very popular transport policies, because the feedback has been phenomenal. The feedback has been phenomenal. People love it and they look forward to it, and they know that they have only a few months to wait, and they'll get to their Christmas holidays this year and the roads will be clearer. They will be able to move more rapidly, safely, but rapidly, and with a lower breath alcohol rating, and life will be a lot better. But, Mr. Speaker, I could not possibly let further comment on this bill pass without mentioning what I know this House understands is a very important piece of roading infrastructure for New Zealand, and that is State Highway 3 North Taranaki and North Taranaki. Very important piece of road, very important piece of roading, carries a lot of heavy lorries, certainly a lot of trucks, and one or two, in fact maybe a fraction more than one or two, but a few heavy farm vehicles that aren't routinely on the roads, but they move on those roads, move on those roads as they're moving between the very well managed and efficient farming sector in North Taranaki, a very lush and green farming sector in North Taranaki, more lush and more green after this week, I suspect too, Mr. Speaker. But this regime, this provision in this bill will allow a change to the regulation of road user charges. That means that a fairer system can be put in place to levy those vehicles, so that they are not overburdened and overcharged for the impact they have on our roads. But most importantly, and through doing that, we just allow ourselves to approach the issue of road funding in a little more sophisticated way, that is a little fairer, and that buys in that consent of the government that is so important to democratic institutions like this Parliament. And it's so important too when we are considering the allocation of the resources gathered through these levies and where they should be applied. That, of course, is the gap, the yawning gap in transport policy at the moment, because areas like Taranaki and roads like State Highway 3 are the ones that miss out. And the road like State Highway 3 in particular is sadly rapidly deteriorating because of a lack of attention from this government, and when it comes to the fair allocation of roading. They're quite happy to plough billions into the Waikato Expressway just because they've got a new velodrome, and they want to make sure that Mr. Bennett can leave the place in quick order. But the provinces and the regions in the country that actually generate the wealth that prop up this government, this shabby, nasty, grubby little government, we're the ones that miss out. We the ones that miss out. And the good people of Taranaki are looking forward to a change in government and to a change in MP, because they know that it's high time they had somebody in this House who has a proven track record of advocating for their interests and for their key road, their main road that goes in and out of North Taranaki, because it's not happening now. But so on that note, Mr Speaker, I reluctantly conclude my remarks and my comments and just say that this is a good bill. It will do good things. And I'd like to conclude. I was about to wish the House a very happy Easter. I'll exclude Mr O'Connor for foreshadowing my comments, because that's an unkind thing to do in the House at this time. I wish you, Mr Speaker, and indeed all members of the House, a safe Easter weekend on our roads, and for those travelling on State Highway 3 North and Taranaki, as I will be doing, an even safer weekend. Thank you.
I call Julianne Genter.
Thank you, Mr Speaker. This bill makes very minor changes, which we do not oppose. So